All right, so on the terminal objectives, um, by the end of this lessons, the student should be able to do the objectives listed, which I think that these are more enabling objectives, and the enabling objectives look more like terminal objectives because it clearly states the overall goals, and the overall goals, the objectives to meet the overall goals should be stated in the terminal objectives, not the enabling objectives. So I would definitely change that. Um, I think that it hits a communicative aim for sure because it's how do you use idioms or common expressions in real world. So yeah, there's that. Overall, I would probably give the terminal objectives about a 2 or 3 just because it seems like they're not really sure what enabling objectives are, and it doesn't discuss anything that they'll be going um, into really in the activities listed below. Um, and then as far as sequencing, um, first off, in the introduction, it states, then try to use difficult words or phrases in the small talk in order to see if students will use the methods of repairing communication breakdowns. Um, yeah, I like that because it's kind of reviewing, but asking an intermediate student to use difficult words or phrases, I'm just confused at who's using the difficult words or phrases. It's very general, and I don't like that. It's not clear who's doing what in the classroom. Um, and then another thing is on the activities. Um, I definitely see a lack of variation in this lesson. And again, it's just not clear on who's doing what in the classroom. Um, I like that in the first activity, they're getting the handout, they're getting the introduction of what idioms are, um, and it kind of gets their brain working, which I like, and they're getting in the mindset of thinking about idioms. Um, and sometimes students have heard, so I like that. If so, where have they heard them? I like that part of it. Um, and then in the activity two, uh, introduce activity and give improvised demonstration. I don't think that an improvised demonstration may be very good. I think that this teacher needs to come in with a plan. Um, and again, can be done individually or as a team. Make a decision before if it's going to be a team or an individual so that you get more time and you don't have to make those little decisions in the midst of class. And then as far as the activities, I think that the idiom activity part A would best be suited to be the beginning, the first activity. So yeah, this activity 3 should definitely be the first activity. They start working out as groups, and then if they don't understand their idiom, they can ask the teacher for help. And then the second activity I would move to the third activity. Um, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much. And then activity B, or activity 4, I mean, um, I think that this would be a good closure activity because it builds on the other two activities of practicing the idioms and the use of the idioms. And I think that activity 4 um, gives them time, or gives them the context of, or more information, I guess, about the idioms. Um, and then I think that this lesson kind of has both the PPP and the ESA format. Um, presentation would definitely be an activity 2, which I moved to activity 3. That would follow, this activity follows the PPP. Otherwise, I think that most of this follows the ESA format. They engage each other. They study the idioms, and then they activate by actually using what they have learned in the fourth activity. And then let's go over activity 2, the motivation. um, so activity 3, I like this activity because it lets the students start learning about idioms, and when to use them. So the students are learning the appropriate time to, well, I guess in this activity, they're kind of getting familiar with the use of idioms. But if you go to activity 2, which I've moved to activity 3, this one gives them practice on using the idioms. And then I believe that all of these are communicative activities. They're all talking to each other during that time. Um, it's constant group work. Uh, but I did say at the beginning that this lacks variation. It lacks a variety of lacks a variety in the lesson. They're continuously working with note cards. I would include a lesson that maybe the note cards are at the beginning, and then do a fun activity using the idioms and how you use them and when you should use them. And then story presentation, I think that that's a good lead up to a closure, especially after activity 4. And then yeah, so I like that this lesson goes over, you learn how in the previous lesson, how to slow people down, and then it goes over to slang and phrases and expressions that we use. And then for the next lesson, then they talk about formal language. And that differs, of course, from idioms and informal language. So I like that you learn informal and then formal. Um, in my opinion, I like that. And yeah, I think that that is it. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry I stutter so much. Thanks. Bye.